Hello, and welcome to Your English Hour, the podcast that helps you improve your English through stories, listening practice, and speaking practice. My name is Tom, and today I want you to do something very simple. Relax, take a deep breath, and enjoy learning English. You do not need to understand every word. You do not need perfect grammar. You do not need to be afraid of making mistakes. Just listen and let English become part of your life. Today's story is called The Job Interview. This story is about a young woman named Sarah. Sarah has a dream. She wants a better job. She wants a better future. But before she can change her life, she must face something many people fear: a job interview. As you listen, ask yourself, what would you do in Sarah's situation? Would you feel confident? Would you feel nervous? Let's begin. Sarah was 26 years old. She lived in a small apartment in a large city. The apartment was not beautiful. The walls were old, the kitchen was tiny, the bedroom was small. But Sarah was grateful. It was her home. Every morning, Sarah woke up at 6 o'clock. She made coffee. She ate breakfast. Then she took a crowded bus to work. For 3 years, she worked in a clothing store. She helped customers. She answered questions. She folded clothes. She cleaned shelves. And she smiled all day. The work was not terrible, but it was not her dream. Sometimes she looked around the store and wondered, is this my future? Will I do this forever? Many people around her seemed satisfied, but Sarah wanted more. Not because she was unhappy, not because she hated her job. She simply believed she could do more with her life. One rainy Monday morning, something happened. While drinking coffee, Sarah opened her laptop. She checked her email, she checked social media, and then she opened a job website. At first, she wasn't looking for anything special. She was only curious. But then she saw an advertisement. Office assistant, bright solutions, full-time, good salary, career growth opportunities. Sarah read the advertisement once, then twice, then a third time. The more she read, the more excited she became. The job sounded perfect. The office was only 15 minutes from her apartment. The salary was much higher than her current salary. The company looked professional, and the job description matched many of her skills. But then another feeling appeared: fear. A voice inside her head whispered, "You're not qualified. What if they reject you? What if someone else is better? What if you embarrass yourself?" Sarah closed the laptop. She stared at the wall. For several minutes she said nothing. Maybe she should forget about it. Maybe it was too risky. Maybe she should stay where she was comfortable. After all, she already had a job. She already had stability. Why take a chance? But another voice spoke inside her mind, a quieter voice, a stronger voice. It said, "What if you succeed? What if this changes your life? What if this opportunity never comes again?" Sarah smiled. She opened the laptop again, and this time she made a decision. "I'm going to apply, no matter what happens." The next 2 hours were busy. Sarah updated her resume. She corrected mistakes. She added new information. She carefully checked every sentence. Then she looked at her resume again, and again, and again. Finally, she clicked the button, Submit Application. The application was sent. There was no turning back now. For a moment, Sarah felt proud. She had taken action. She had done something brave. But later that evening, doubt returned. What if they never reply? What if they laugh at my application? What if I am not good enough? Many English learners know this feeling. Many people know this feeling. Sometimes the biggest obstacle is not outside. Sometimes it is inside our own minds. Days passed. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. No email, no phone call, nothing. Sarah began losing hope. Maybe they had already chosen someone else. Maybe they didn't like her application. Maybe she should stop thinking about it. Then on Friday afternoon, her phone rang. Sarah looked at the screen. Unknown number. Her heart started beating faster. She answered. "Hello?" A friendly voice replied. "Hello, Sarah. This is Emma from Bright Solutions." Sarah sat up straight. Suddenly she felt nervous, very nervous. Emma continued, "We received your application and we were impressed. We would like to invite you for an interview next Tuesday at 10 a.m. For a second, Sarah couldn't speak. An interview, an actual interview. This was really happening. Finally, she answered, "Yes, thank you very much. I would love to attend." "Excellent. We'll see you on Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend." The call ended. Sarah stared at her phone. Then she laughed. Then she smiled. Then she jumped up and down in her apartment. She was excited, but she was also terrified. An interview meant opportunity, but it also meant pressure, questions, expectations, judgment. What if she failed? That night, Sarah could not sleep easily. Her mind was full of thoughts. What should I wear? What questions will they ask? Will my answers be good enough? Will I sound confident? Will they like me? These questions repeated again and again. Maybe you have experienced this too, perhaps before an exam, perhaps before a presentation, perhaps before speaking English. Fear often appears before important moments, but fear is not always a bad thing. Fear often means that something matters to us, and when something matters, we grow. The next morning, Sarah made another decision. Instead of worrying, she would prepare. She would practice every day. She would become ready. No excuses, no procrastination, no giving up. Only preparation. And that decision changed everything. Why do you want this job? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Why should we hire you? Sarah knew these were common interview questions. She had seen them many times online. Now she needed good answers. At first it was difficult. Every answer sounded strange. Every sentence felt awkward. She stopped. She sighed. Then she reminded herself of something important. Nobody is perfect at the beginning. Improvement comes through practice. So she tried again, and again, and again. Each answer became a little better. Each sentence became a little smoother. Each practice session increased her confidence. That evening she stood in front of a mirror. She imagined an interviewer sitting across from her. She smiled. She introduced herself. "Hello, my name is Sarah. Thank you for giving me this opportunity." At first, she felt silly. Talking to a mirror seemed strange, but after 10 minutes, something changed. She became more comfortable. She started speaking naturally. She started believing in herself. For the next few days, Sarah followed the same routine. Wake up, go to work, come home, practice. Every day, every evening, no excuses. Some days she felt confident. Other days she felt nervous, but she continued. That was the difference. Many people stop when they feel uncomfortable. Sarah kept going, and that made her stronger. One evening, her friend Lisa called her. "How's the interview preparation going?" Lisa asked. Sarah laughed. "I think I'm driving myself crazy." "What do you mean?" "I practice every day. I answer questions, I watch interview videos, I read articles. I can't stop thinking about it." Lisa laughed. "That's normal." "What if I fail? What if I say something stupid? What if they don't like me?" Lisa was quiet for a moment. Then she said something Sarah would never forget. "Sarah, stop trying to be perfect." "What do you mean?" "You don't need to be perfect. You only need to be prepared. You only need to show them who you are." Sarah thought about those words. Prepared, not perfect. For some reason, those words made her feel calmer. Maybe Lisa was right. Maybe success wasn't about being perfect. Maybe success was about showing up and doing your best. The weekend passed quickly. Then Monday arrived, and suddenly, interview day was tomorrow. That evening, Sarah prepared everything carefully. Her clothes were ready, her shoes were clean, her resume was printed, her bag was packed. She even checked the bus schedule twice. Before going to bed, she looked in the mirror one final time. "You can do this." She smiled. Then she turned off the light. The next morning, Sarah woke up before her alarm clock. It was 6 o'clock. The interview was at 10. Her stomach felt nervous. She wasn't hungry, but she forced herself to eat breakfast. She drank coffee. She checked her appearance. Everything looked professional. As she left the apartment, the weather was beautiful. The sky was blue. The air felt fresh. People walked quickly through the streets. Cars moved through the city. Everything seemed normal. Yet for Sarah, this day felt different. This day could change her future. The bus arrived. She sat near the window. As the city passed by, she reviewed her answers one last time. "Tell me about yourself. Why do you want this job? What are your strengths?" She repeated them quietly, not because she was afraid, because she wanted to feel ready. 20 minutes later, she arrived at the office building. It was taller than she expected. Modern glass walls reflected the sunlight. Employees entered and exited through large doors. Everyone looked confident. Everyone looked professional. Suddenly, her confidence disappeared. A familiar voice returned. "Maybe you don't belong here. Maybe these people are smarter than you. Maybe you're wasting your time." Sarah stood outside the building. For a moment, she considered walking away. Nobody would know. She could simply go home. No interview, no embarrassment, no risk. But then she remembered something, a quote she had read online. "Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action despite fear." Sarah took a deep breath, then another, then another. Finally, she walked forward. One step, then another, and before she knew it, she was inside the building. The reception area was bright and elegant. A receptionist smiled warmly. "Good morning, how can I help you?" Sarah smiled back. "I'm here for an interview." "Wonderful. May I have your name?" "Sarah Johnson." The receptionist checked her computer. "Perfect. Please take a seat. Someone will be with you shortly." Sarah sat down. The waiting area was quiet. A large clock hung on the wall. She could hear the ticking. Tick, tick, tick. Every second felt longer than usual. She looked around. Several other candidates were waiting. They looked confident. Some wore expensive suits. Some reviewed documents. One person typed quickly on a laptop. Again, doubt appeared. What if they're better than me? What if I don't have enough experience? What if I fail? Then Sarah stopped herself. Comparing yourself to others rarely helps. She focused on her breathing. She focused on the present moment. 5 minutes later, a man approached her. He looked friendly, professional, confident. He extended his hand. "Hello, Sarah. My name is David. Thank you for coming today." Sarah stood and shook his hand. "It's nice to meet you." "It's nice to meet you too." David smiled. "Please follow me." And together they walked toward the interview room. Sarah knew the moment had finally arrived. Everything she had practiced, everything she had prepared, everything she had worried about. Now it was time. The interview was about to begin. David opened the door and invited Sarah inside. The room was simple. There was a large table, 3 chairs, a window overlooking the city, and a notebook sitting neatly in front of each chair. "Please have a seat," David said. "Thank you." Sarah sat down. She placed her resume on the table. She tried to smile naturally. Inside, however, she felt nervous, very nervous. David noticed. "Don't worry, this is simply a conversation." Sarah smiled. That helped, a little. David sat across from her. He opened a folder. Then he looked up and smiled. "Let's begin." Sarah nodded. "First, tell me a little about yourself." Sarah had practiced this question dozens of times. She took a breath. Then she began. "My name is Sarah Johnson. I have worked in customer service for 3 years. During that time, I learned how to communicate with people, solve problems, and stay organized. I enjoy learning new skills, and I am excited about opportunities that help me grow professionally." David nodded. "Very good." Sarah felt a small wave of relief. One question completed. The interview continued. "Why do you want to work for Bright Solutions?" Sarah smiled. She knew this answer too. "I researched your company before applying. I was impressed by your reputation and your commitment to employee development. I believe this position would allow me to use my current skills while also learning new ones." David wrote something in his notebook. Sarah wondered what he wrote. Was it good? Was it bad? She had no idea. The uncertainty made her nervous, but she kept going. The next question came quickly. "What would you say is your greatest strength?" Sarah thought carefully. Then she answered, "I am reliable. If I promise to do something, I do it. I am also a quick learner. I enjoy learning new systems and improving my skills." David smiled. "Can you give me an example?" "Of course. Last year, our store introduced a new inventory system. Many employees found it difficult. I spent extra time learning it and then helped train several co-workers." "Excellent," David replied. Sarah felt more confident. She was beginning to relax. The conversation felt less like an interview and more like a discussion. Then came a difficult question. "What is your greatest weakness?" Sarah expected this question, but she still didn't like it. She paused. Then she answered honestly. "Sometimes I spend too much time trying to make everything perfect." David raised an eyebrow. "Can you explain?" "Yes. I care about doing good work. Sometimes I focus so much on details that I spend more time than necessary on a task. However, I have been working on balancing quality and efficiency." David nodded. "That's a thoughtful answer." Again, he wrote something in his notebook. Sarah wondered if she was doing well. She hoped so. Then David leaned back slightly. "Let's imagine a situation." Sarah sat up straighter. "If a customer was angry and complaining about a mistake, how would you handle it?" Sarah smiled. This was familiar territory. Customer service experience had prepared her well. "I would remain calm and listen carefully. I would allow the customer to explain the problem. Then I would apologize for the inconvenience and focus on finding a solution." David nodded. "And what if the customer continued to be angry?" "I would stay professional. I would not argue. I would focus on helping them." David smiled. "Very good." Sarah felt her confidence growing. For the first time that morning, she stopped worrying about making mistakes. Instead, she focused on communicating clearly, and that changed everything. The interview became easier, the words came naturally, the conversation flowed, the fear slowly disappeared. After several more questions, David closed his notebook. He smiled warmly. "Sarah, you've done very well." Sarah felt surprised. "Thank you. I appreciate that." David nodded. "But before we finish, do you have any questions for me?" Many candidates simply said no, but Sarah remembered something she had learned while preparing. Good candidates ask questions, so she did. "Yes, I do." David smiled. "Go ahead. What does success look like in this position?" David seemed pleased by the question. "That's an excellent question." He explained the role, the responsibilities, the opportunities for growth, the company culture. Sarah listened carefully. The more she heard, the more excited she became. This job felt right. When David finished, Sarah asked another question. "What do you enjoy most about working here?" David laughed softly. "Honestly?" Sarah nodded. "The people. We support each other. We work hard, but we also help each other succeed." Sarah liked that answer very much. A supportive environment was important to her. Finally, David stood. The interview was over. 45 minutes had passed, yet it felt much shorter. He extended his hand. "Thank you for coming today." Sarah shook his hand. "Thank you for your time." David smiled. "We'll contact you within a few days." Sarah nodded. Then she left the room. As she walked through the hallway, she felt lighter, happier, prouder. She didn't know whether she would get the job, but something had changed. She had faced her fear. She had done something difficult, and she had survived. Outside, the sun was shining. The city looked different, brighter somehow. Sarah sat on a nearby bench. She closed her eyes, and she smiled. Many people think success means getting what you want, but sometimes success means showing up. Sometimes success means trying. Sometimes success means taking a chance even when you are afraid. And on that day, Sarah felt successful, no matter what happened next. 3 days passed, then 4, then 5. Sarah checked her phone constantly. Every notification made her heart jump. Every email created hope. Then one Wednesday afternoon, while helping a customer at work, her phone vibrated. Unknown number. Sarah felt her pulse quicken. Could this be it? Could this be the call? She stepped into the break room and answered. "Hello?" The familiar voice replied. "Hello, Sarah. This is David from Bright Solutions." Sarah held her breath. "We've made our decision." For a moment, the world seemed silent. Everything stopped. And then David said the words she had been hoping to hear. "We would like to offer you the position." Sarah's eyes widened. She couldn't believe it. She smiled, then laughed, then almost cried. "Thank you. Thank you so much." David laughed. "We're excited to have you join the team." After the call ended, Sarah sat quietly for a moment. She remembered the fear, the doubt, the nervous nights, the nervous bus ride, the waiting room, the interview, everything. And she realized something important. The opportunity had not changed her life. The decision to try had changed her life. The moment she stopped listening to fear and started taking action was the moment everything began to change. And perhaps there is a lesson here for all of us. Whether you are learning English, preparing for an interview, starting a business, or chasing a dream, you do not need certainty. You do not need perfection. You only need the courage to take the next step. One small step, then another, then another, because that is how confidence grows, that is how success grows, and that is how lives change. Vocabulary review. Before we continue, let's review some important vocabulary from today's story. Listen carefully, try to understand the meaning, and repeat after me. Opportunity. Opportunity. An opportunity is a chance to do something good or improve your situation. Example: this new job is a great opportunity. Repeat: this new job is a great opportunity. Excellent. Reliable. Reliable. A reliable person can be trusted. A reliable person does what they promise to do. Example: Sarah is reliable. Repeat: Sarah is reliable. Very good. Professional. Professional. A professional person behaves seriously and responsibly at work. Example: she looked professional during the interview. Repeat: she looked professional during the interview. Excellent. Confident. Confident. Confident means believing in yourself. Example: Sarah felt confident after practicing. Repeat: Sarah felt confident after practicing. Great job. Prepare. Prepare. To prepare means to get ready for something. Example: she prepared for the interview every day. Repeat: she prepared for the interview every day. Very good. Strength. Strength. A strength is something you are good at. Example: communication is one of her strengths. Repeat: communication is one of her strengths. Excellent. Weakness. Weakness. A weakness is something you need to improve. Example: everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Repeat: everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Wonderful. Let's continue. Listening questions. Now I will ask you some questions about the story. Try to answer before I give you the answer. Ready? Question 1. How old was Sarah? The answer is, Sarah was 26 years old. Very good. Question 2. Where did Sarah work before applying for the new job? The answer is, she worked in a clothing store. Excellent. Question 3. Why did Sarah want a new job? The answer is, she wanted a better future, more opportunities, and a higher salary. Great. Question 4. What company invited Sarah for an interview? The answer is, Bright Solutions. Excellent. Question 5. What was Sarah's greatest strength? The answer is, she was reliable and a quick learner. Very good. Question 6. Did Sarah feel nervous before the interview? Yes, she felt very nervous, but she still went to the interview. Excellent. Question 7. Did Sarah get the job? Yes, she got the job. Wonderful. You are doing great. Now let's move to the most important part, shadowing practice. Shadowing practice. Remember, do not worry about perfection. Just copy my pronunciation, copy my rhythm, copy my speed. Ready? Let's begin. I can improve my English every day. Again, I can improve my English every day. Excellent. I believe in myself. Again. I believe in myself. Very good. I am learning step by step. Again. I am learning step by step. Excellent. Every mistake helps me learn. Again. Every mistake helps me learn. Wonderful. I am becoming more confident. Again. I am becoming more confident. Excellent. I speak English every day. Again. I speak English every day. Very good. I am not afraid of challenges. Again. I am not afraid of challenges. Excellent. Success comes from practice. Again. Success comes from practice. Wonderful. I keep going even when things are difficult. Again. I keep going even when things are difficult. Excellent. I am proud of my progress. Again. I am proud of my progress. Fantastic. Now let's practice longer sentences. Listen carefully, then repeat. Sarah felt nervous before her interview, but she continued anyway. Again. Sarah felt nervous before her interview, but she continued anyway. Excellent. Confidence grows when we take action despite fear. Again. Confidence grows when we take action despite fear. Wonderful. The more we practice, the more comfortable we become. Again. The more we practice, the more comfortable we become. Excellent. Learning English is a journey, not a race. Again. Learning English is a journey, not a race. Very good. Small improvements every day create big results over time. Again. Small improvements every day create big results over time. Excellent. Now, one final challenge. Repeat after me. I may not be perfect, but I am improving every single day, and I will never give up on my goals. Again. I may not be perfect, but I am improving every single day, and I will never give up on my goals. Outstanding. You should be proud of yourself. Today you listened to a story. You learned new vocabulary. You answered questions, and you practiced speaking. That is real progress. Remember, fluent English is not built in one day. It is built one sentence at a time, one conversation at a time, one practice session at a time. Keep listening, keep speaking, keep learning, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. Thank you for joining me today. Take care, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next episode of Your English Hour.